I'm wearing my favorite color, yellow, because yellow puts me in my happy place. It's going to be a long night, but I am so psyched about Election Day. I think when you look in the studio, it's totally transformed, and we're really excited. We've been told we're going on the air live at 7 o'clock. We'll be on the air live until 2 a.m. Still am alert and available. You know, I think it really gets exciting, I'd say, in the next hour. Right now, I'm feeling good. We got a 6-minute break. I'm going to the bathroom.
All right, well, for anyone that likes a story with a happy ending, sit back and enjoy the rest of this video as we revisit the evening of November 5th and into the morning hours of November 6th, Election Night 2024, and watch Gayle King go from excited to nauseously optimistic to devastated at the end.
Based on a source close to her watching the returns.
Bob, it's interesting. They say she must win, but do they think she can win? There's such a big difference there. You expect people to be optimistic at this point, but it's
come down to the turnout, Gayle, in cities and labor. Cities, labor, and they got to eat into the Republican vote in the suburbs. They're still optimistic, from Pelosi to others, that she can do it, but they see a narrowing path, but a still viable path. But there's a lot of Democrats, to be clear, on edge right now.
Yeah, and it seems that if you're a Donald Trump supporter, you're feeling very confident and encouraged, and if you're a Kamala Harris supporter, you're feeling a little worried at this particular time, although we keep saying there's still a lot of votes to be counted. People say they still are holding out hope. People say they still are holding out hope, even though at this particular time she seems to be underperforming in all the things that they thought she would do well. You know, a friend of mine called me from Florida this morning, clearly a red state, and said, you know, America is in labor today, and today we'll find out if we are delivering a boy or a girl. Right now, as you sit here tonight, it looks very good for the Donald Trump team. And I think people are trying to figure out what is happening to Kamala Harris's campaign at this particular point, even though people still have hope.
Well, I think the vote is still being counted in Pennsylvania.
We need to keep emphasizing that.
Yes, and we certainly don't know what's happening in Arizona or Nevada just yet, and
or
Michigan, Wisconsin. So the early states, Georgia and North Carolina, because they were the first to close, we were able to rate them as lean Republican. And so, you know, just as the hours go on and more votes come in, we'll have a better sense, I think, of what's happening there. But look,
you know what I think is troubling, though, Nora, is that she seems to be underperforming in areas that they thought she would do well, certainly among women, certainly among the reproductive rights, certainly among some of the black voters. That's why I think people are so concerned at this particular point. What does this mean? John, is it a brand new party? Is it a brand new day? And we should also say nobody has 270 yet either. So the Harris campaign is still nauseously optimistic. Nauseously optimistic, but I bet they're getting a little sicker now as the night progresses.
There is this realignment, to pick up on what John was saying, that we are watching play out in terms of who's turning up to vote. But we are looking at a globe that is realigning, too. There is a disorientation. There is, from the commander-in-chief question, you know, who is going to take office at a time when the world is watching this election tonight to see who they will be dealing with, when they're looking at the largest land war in Europe underway, when they're looking at the expansion of that, they're looking at a Mideast on fire, they're looking at an aggressive China. And we are going to be digesting this as a planet when we wake up tomorrow morning to figure out what's next. A third of the world has had a female leader. This country has not. And tonight, this is also a test of whether a woman could be a commander-in-chief of this country, elected in a very short runway of an election. Therefore, you won't see that realignment or that threat around the world come to these shores. That's the package he's selling in his national security argument. And it's just something to chew on tonight as we wait to see who gets to 270. There are just some major tests that go, I think, beyond this moment when we talk about gender, when we talk about, you know, projections of power and America's role in the world.
I know, but you look at the exit polls. Harris overwhelmingly wins when people say they want their president to have good judgment. Trump overwhelmingly wins support when you say you're looking for someone who could lead and who can bring much-needed change.
I hear you talk about. All right, let's bring in Robert Costa on this matter. Robert?
There's still a path. It's a big sense of, a big case of deja vu.
He didn't say we still have a path. No. He said with their votes still being counted.
Yeah, he said the votes are still being.
Still have a path.
But he said the votes are still being counted, and that leads you to believe that there is that there still is hope. He didn't say, look, there's no chance. He said the votes are still being counted. So, there's a big case of deja vu, I think, for many people tonight.
What a shot this is, though, to see these supporters at her alma mater at Howard University and many D.C. residents there in that neighborhood walking off of that campus right now, wondering when they will know the results of this election.
What happens to this concept called checks and balances? Because if he gets in, he has the House, possibly the Senate, the Supreme Court. What happens? It seems that he would be in power with no guardrails, so to speak.
We see the senators who are elected tonight, they will owe their success to him. So it's checks and balances is one question, but you also have, it's not just Donald Trump. There is a political movement now that has practiced at supporting whatever his impulses, wherever they may send him.
CBS political contributor Joel Payne now. Joel?
Hi, Gayle.
Hey. So I just want to say, when Jim Clyburn was here earlier this evening, he said that there was still a path, but the path was thorny. I think now we can even see that looks like the thorns are bending to the side as we sit here. When you were here earlier today or yesterday, and now my days are all running together, you said the conversation about black men was being exaggerated, that you didn't think that was the case. Are you still, as you sit here today, an hour ago you had hope? Do you still have hope yourself as you sit here now?
Well, Gayle, I got to have hope, but also I got to read polls and data, and the data certainly suggests that things aren't going well.
Joel, is it, and I even hate to ask this question, I'm asking as I'm clutching my pearls. Could it be a woman issue? When Barack Obama suggested it, people thought, some people were offended that he even raised that issue. But do we have to realistically think about that? We've had Hillary Clinton now, and now maybe even Kamala Harris. Do you feel that this country isn't ready for a woman president?
We have not heard from the Harris campaign whether she has made any call to the former president, the president-elect, presume, possibly soon.
And it is 3 a.m. in the East, and a very big night for Donald Trump and the Republican Party.
Morning.
Welcome back to CBS News Election 2024. Good morning. It is 3:30 a.m. in the East, 12:30 in the West. We have been on the air for 9 hours straight covering this election, and it has been a very big night for Donald Trump and the Republican Party.
This is a post-Roe going away. Because remember, in 2020, the number of women who were turned off by Donald Trump. Well, they have, in some measure, come back. He has done better with them.
So, Ed, what is the lesson, do you think, for the Democratic Party from what happened in 2016 to what is happening today in 2024?
I mean,
what are the lessons here?
Well, they were identity politics.
Right.
Yeah.
We also heard from the Harris campaign, no, you are wrong, when you see that the support has tapped out on the issue of the state of democracy. That was something late in the campaign they transitioned back to. That was the closing argument alongside Liz Cheney. So it's like people were just reading completely different signals.
We have not heard from Vice President Kamala Harris. Her campaign co-chair spoke to supporters saying go home for the night. And CBS News now projects that Donald Trump is the winner in Wisconsin. That gives him the number of electoral votes he needs to become the 47th president of the United States. This is an incredible moment in American history for Donald Trump, who faced a number of challenges in this contest. It was an election unlike any of us have ever covered.
So interestingly, when it was time to call Wisconsin and the election for Donald Trump, Gayle King suddenly disappeared. Where did she go? Well, besides probably going to throw up in the bathroom, supposedly she just went to take a nap.
Kamala Harris supporter at this point in the evening, you were extremely worried. I've just taken off my contact lenses because they were stuck to my eyeballs. We're just waiting for one more vote dump so that we can officially declare Donald Trump the winner. Thought I could leave at 2, but now it's going on 4 o'clock. I have to be back here at 5, so I'm cleaning off my couch so I can lay right here.
Didn't hair and makeup and scared myself when I looked in the mirror. I went, oh God. What you gonna do, Giselle?
Make it look
Giselle gonna make me right. There's Ray Don. I know they're tired too. As a matter of fact, I slept in my makeup, Ray Down, so you don't have to do a thing. The Harris campaign is still nauseously optimistic, but I bet they're getting a little sicker now.